Hello and welcome to the Philippines. How much does it cost to travel in the Philippines once you're here? Take a trip to another island, to take a trip across an island. I'm going to use a couple examples from a recent trip that I took to give you some ideas. So here we go. I believe that the Philippines has over 20 airports on the various islands. What you'll find is if you want to go, for instance, from one island to another island, is that you often have to go through Manila, and what should be a 1 or 2 hour flight turns into maybe a 22-hour flight because you have a layover in Manila. And for instance, Dumaguete, which is a popular place, over to Cebu City, there is maybe one or a couple of direct flights each week that book probably very quickly, so you have to get on them very quickly before they sell out. Most of the other flights go up to Manila and then onward, going from what is a 2-hour ferry ride from Cebu City to Tagbilaran City in Bohol. There are a couple of direct flights, I believe, maybe one a day, and but the rest of them go up through Manila, and that turns into a 22-hour flight. Prices vary widely based on season, based on availability, based on the whims of the airlines. So you just need to get on the various travel sites or the airline site and check out your rates. A flight from Cebu City to Tagbilaran City and back, one direct flight was about $100. The trip that would take you to Manila and then back to Tagbilaran was going to cost about $220, I believe. I'm going to use an example of a recent trip we made from Cebu City by ferry to Tagbilaran City on Bohol, and then we used a combination of a van, a tricycle, and a rented car with a driver to get back and forth between Alona Beach on Panglao Island back and forth to Tagbilaran City. You're going to need a ticket to board a ferry. I prefer to buy mine at travel agents in the malls or on the street, so I have it in advance. You can also buy it at ticket offices at the various piers. Some piers have limited hours, so that can be an issue. Keep that in mind. Plan ahead. My ticket from Cebu City to Tagbilaran City, a little less than 2-hour trip on a fast ferry, cost me 500 pesos, or about 10 US dollars. Now the travel agent charged 75 pesos, I believe, $1.50 for their service. You're required to be at the gate 30 or 40 minutes prior to departure, and you need to check in, and they will assign you a seat assignment in many cases. Here we are boarding at Pier 1 in Cebu City, and up on top, we paid the 500 for a aircon seat, and if there's room up above up there on the top level is the non-air conditioned, and it's usually cool enough up there, or often is, with a little bit of breeze. But if it's sunny day, a hot day with a little breeze, can get quite uncomfortable. I believe the seats are a little bit closer together up there too, so you have less space to put your luggage, and generally there is no overhead bin on a lot of these things, so you have to stuff your luggage down in between your legs in the seat. Non-aircon seats on this voyage were 400 pesos, 100 pesos less than the aircon, and then there's a business class also that has bigger, better seats, more space between the seats, and that cost 1,000 for this trip, 1,000 pesos, or about 20 US dollars. This ferry had 1 or 2 CRs or bathrooms on each level, as far as I could tell. Did not see any type of lounge where they would sell drinks and that type of thing. They did have a guy come around selling water and sodas and chips and those types of things. Life jackets are under the seats, and here's a look up on the upper deck, the non-aircon area. Cheaper type seats, and the curtains are pulled because it was raining. And when they say fast ferry, they mean fast ferry. The trip took less than 2 hours total getting on the boat, getting off the boat. And it was quite uneventful. We didn't run into anything and nobody ran into us, although there are places, the seas out there are very busy. You'll see lots of other ferries, fishing boats, freighters going. When we arrived at the Tagbilaran Pier, there was no shortage of people wanting to take us wherever we wanted to go, and I'll show you some of that right now.
Metro Center, over here.
Yes, sir. Need right, sir? We're going, sir. Which hotel?
TipTop.
TipTop?
TipTop?
Yeah.
How much?
2 person? So only 600 pesos, sir, for both. Takes 30 minutes.
Oh.
You don't have luggage? Only
Yeah.
backpacks out?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, that's a decent deal.
Okay, sir? Okay,
Okay.
give it.
They have people along here selling rides as well as different types of tours and that type of thing. Now we were headed out to Alona Beach on Panglao Island, which was 22 kilometers away or about 14 miles. And there were other options I was aware of. One was the Tricycle here, and we ended up taking this out. A couple days later we came into town and took him back. And they usually ask for 300, but they quickly come down to, we paid 250, I think, which was pretty good, and I think you can get it for 200 if you really want to bargain with them. But I don't mind paying a decent price, 250 pesos, $5 US, to go that far for two of us. Very good bargain as far as I'm concerned. The other options are to take a motorbike. A motorbike would be a little bit less, but if you've got any luggage, it'd be a hassle taking that. There are buses if you go out to the outskirts of town, out to Island City Mall. They have buses that go out onto the island from there for, I believe, 25 pesos. You can also rent a car. Coming back on our last day to go back to the pier, we rented a car for 500 pesos a piece. There again, 10 US dollars, take both of us 22 kilometers, 14 miles back to the pier, and that's a fair price as far as I'm concerned. These little tricycles, they vary in style depending on what island you're on, and the two of us, medium-sized adults, we were tucked in there pretty tight, and yet I've seen 5 people climb out of one of these in town. Where they got 2 adults in there and then 3 or 4 children sitting on their lap. If you're on a budget, a jeepney or bus is your cheapest rate. 25, 35, 45 pesos. Take you lots of places. 100, 150 will take you a long ways. A 3-hour bus trip on Cebu is about 150, 160 pesos. Or barely $3 total. 150 pesos at 50 pesos to the dollar would be 3 US dollars. And if you have freight to haul, a jeepney or bus will usually find a way to stack it in or pack it in one way or the other. Keep in mind these jeepneys are not air conditioned except for the open windows and open rear door. Thanks for coming along. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Safe travels to you all.